times at the moment because of how dry it's been. What kind of a difference will this funding make for them? Before all of that, though, as anticipation builds for Gather Round, we've heard just how busy it's going to be, and not just in Adelaide, but further afield as well. You might have heard Adelaide Airport today saying their expectation is that it'll probably be the busiest week they've ever had. 200,000 people are coming into South Australia in the coming week. And we've heard that, hotels, pubs are expected to be packed too. And alongside that, accommodation now can be pretty hard to come by. If you've left it to the last moment, some properties around Adelaide that are being listed on short stay accommodation, places like Airbnb are going between $500 and $1,000 a night. Hotel rooms going for a similar amount if you can find one. There's also rideshare activities available in Barossa for the first time, so we'll take a look at that in a moment. But with us, Neil D'Souza from the Adelaide Rideshare Drivers Group and the SA Short-Term Rental Hosts, which includes groups like Airbnb and Stayz and Booking.com. Neil, thank you for your time this afternoon.
Thank you, Nikolai. Yes.
How much demand, let's start with the accommodation side of things, how much demand is there for short-term stay options at the moment?
Very high. I suggest if there are people who have not put their properties on Airbnb, and they are on Airbnb, for example, they would get pretty booked up pretty quickly.
Those that are left, how expensive are they getting? What's the most you've seen a night going for?
Well, I cannot really comment because I haven't really looked, okay?
Well, we've looked here at the ABC and saw a number of listings between that that area of, and talking broadly of between maybe $500 to $1,000 a night, depending on where you are and what kind of property is as well. I mean, that's a fair bit of money.
I agree, but also you've got to remember that as the people come to stay in the Airbnbs, they do give reviews and feedback, and they get asked about the value of the accommodation and communication, etc. And if they're overcharging, I suppose they would get bad reviews.
Is there an argument that when you've got places charging very high rates, they are taking advantage of people?
I suppose, well, some people may be taking advantage of people. I'm sure the hotels have put up their prices and other people have put up the prices. I think that some short-term accommodation hosts got booked up really, really early at a very low price. So quite a few people coming into Adelaide are doing quite well out of enjoying Adelaide at very reasonable prices. I suggest some of the people who are just putting up this week, maybe, they might be putting it at a high price, but I'm not sure.
From what you know, does it tend to be people who are normally offering short-term accommodation, or is it people that are saying, look, we've got a spare room, or indeed maybe the residential home that we normally live in, well, we'll go away for the weekend and put it on one of these short-stay places? What kind of mix are you seeing?
I don't think it's that easy to just put something up on Airbnb. You have to go through a whole heap of, or any of these things, you have to go through a whole heap of process. So if you're thinking, okay, I want to put something up on Airbnb, you won't get it up by this weekend. By the time it's approved and everything, it'll take probably a couple of weeks at least. Some people who may have been on Airbnb or Stayz or something, they might have been on previously and decided, okay, I'm stopping for a while, but this week I might start up again, sort of thing, just because of the extra people coming along. And I do suggest that a lot of these people, they are doing Adelaide a favour because they are actually helping people get accommodation and telling them about Adelaide and being good hosts, you could say, to Adelaide.
Okay, well, Neil, stay with us because I want to talk to you about the rideshare side of things in a moment. But let's bring into the conversation to John Wick, who's a committee member of the SA Landlords Association. John Wick, thank you for your time this afternoon.
Thanks.
What do you know about how much some people are charging for accommodation? If you're charging, say, $500, $750 a night, is there an argument that people are being taken advantage of?
I think it's, the rates are market-based, I suppose. When there's higher demand, some people put up the prices, and the bigger hotels, of course, have got an automated system to deal with that. A number of us don't change our prices throughout the year either, and I suppose that's where people coming from interstate and locally, I suppose, who book early can take advantage of quite reasonable rates.
Because I suppose the two different sides of this debate is one says, well, we live in a supply and demand world, and if demand is very high and there's not much supply, you should be able to charge whatever you want. But then the other side of that coin is, I suppose, a question around whether or not there should be limitations as to how much you could increase prices when there's big demand, some form of restriction on that. What do you say to both of those arguments?
I think there's the other side of the coin. And that is that when in times of low demand, like the middle of winter, for example, usually, many places would drop their rates, offer good deals and all of that sort of thing. So I suppose it's a bit of swings and roundabouts. I think that trying to regulate how much rates, well, what the base rate is to start with, and then how much it can increase in peak seasons is, I think it'll be a great challenge.
Okay. John, thank you for your time this afternoon as well.
Okay, thank you.
John Wick, who's committee member of the SA Landlords Association. 5:13 is the time, 891 ABC Radio Adelaide. We're keen to hear from you this afternoon, whether this is maybe something that you've noticed, if you have, or even if family or friends have made that last-minute decision, yep, we're going to come to Adelaide for Gather Round. What's it been like if you've been looking for accommodation? Have you managed to find a reasonable deal, or are you looking at the reality of saying, well, if you're going to come now, you probably are going to be paying $500 a night, $750 a night. If you've been affected by that, be very keen to hear from you. 1300 222 891 or 0467 922 891. Let's return to Neil D'Souza, who's from the Adelaide Rideshare Drivers Group, as well as the short-term rental hosts. So, Neil, one of the other big changes that's happened in terms of one of the government rules changed is around some of these rideshare vehicle services being able to travel to areas they haven't previously. Predominantly, I suppose, the Barossa is one of the things that's been talked about. Is everything, from your understanding, like set, ready to go when it comes to that?
I don't know. I don't think so. I know that some drivers have, for example, taken people from Shepherd's Fields to Williamstown. So I know that Uber, for example, is probably working in the Barossa, etc., but I don't think it's working in other parts of South Australia, like Strathalbyn and things like that. It's going to be a very interesting weekend. I think that they're expecting about 80 buses from the city also. So, and it'll be interesting how Lindock is going to handle all the traffic coming through, if there's a ride share, etc., because it's just a town sort of thing.
So do you think a lot of people will be using the buses maybe in preference to some of the rideshare services?
I don't know. I think a lot of drivers are happy to take people out there, but the thing is, how are they going to get rides back, or are they going to wait down there for another 2 hours until everything comes and then return back to Adelaide? I cannot give you a full understanding. It'll be a very interesting weekend to see exactly how everything pans out.
Do you know, are there enough drivers? Have more people taken to acting as drivers for rideshare services now that these rules have been changed?
Well, not yet. I don't believe so. And so I suspect by this time next year there'll be a lot more. But at the moment, it's still not operating correctly in the country areas.
Okay.
So the Didi, etc.
So do you think there may well still be instances where people who want to get around struggle to find services that are able to help out with that?
At this stage, yes, especially from the country areas, yes.
Okay. Neil, thank you for your time this afternoon as well.
Pleasure.
Neil D'Souza, who's from the Adelaide Rideshare Drivers Group and the SA Short-Term Rental Hosts as well. It's 5:16, 891 ABC Radio Adelaide. In just a moment, we will find out whether or not this drought package will make a real difference to those on the land.